You're now listening to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. Straightforward, no nonsense business advice. Completely unfiltered. Grow your business. Grow your life. Now, here's your host, Brian Fullerton.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Brian Fullerton here, and you are listening to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. How you doing, babe?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. We got the wife in studio. This is one of the inaugural podcasts that we're doing. We're releasing here. Super excited about the whole brand new podcast that we got going on. Everybody's got a podcast. Everybody's doing it.
If all my friends are jumping off the bridge, I'm doing it too.
Hey, we're jumping all in, right?
All in.
We are two blondes taking over the world. We have no idea what we're doing.
Our tagline.
Well, okay, so today we're going to be talking about our story. We're going to be sharing a little bit more about so let's just say that on YouTube right now, I feel like everybody sees Brian's Law Maintenance like 2.0 or Brian's Law Maintenance 3.0. Mm-hmm. And not a lot of people understand like my story, where we came from, how we even got started, how it's a miracle that we're still in business, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, literally, you and I met 7 years ago.
Gosh, yeah.
It's crazy. You haven't aged a bit.
No, not at all.
You haven't aged a bit? No. That's not pretentious. Okay. So we're gonna be totally unfiltered on this podcast. No edits, no nothing. It's gonna be just straightforward business advice and getting to hear our story. So let's do this. Let's hit the announcements really quick, and we will jump into our story.
Have you ever thought about starting your own lawn and landscaping business, but not sure where to start? Look no further than LawntrepreneurAcademy.com, an e-training website dedicated to helping you start and grow a successful lawn care business. Save more time and make way more money by learning exactly what it takes to grow your business to the next level. Invest in your future by first investing in yourself. Use promo code PODCAST to save 10% on all training programs today at LawntrepreneurAcademy.com. Now, back to the show.
All right, so let's get into our story really quick, because this is it's a miracle. Literally, it's a miracle that we've made it this far. So a lot of you guys know that I run a lawn care landscaping business up in Novi, like Wixom, Michigan, and it's our 13th year.
We just finished the 13th season.
13th season. So we're going into year 14.
Yeah.
Which is...
That's crazy. That makes me feel old, and I've not even been around since the beginning.
Yeah, no, I know it's impossible to, like, I can't even imagine. Like, I don't even know how we got this far, how we're still here. It's super exciting. But here's where, let's go backwards in time. Let's go backwards down to story time. Are you ready? So how I got started with my lawn and landscape business was I was 18, 19, 20, working at Little Caesars Corporation, $5 pizzas, right? Just living the dream, being a store manager. So when I was 18, I had two options: go to college or go make $38,000 a year. And so the economy was in the pooper. It was 2004, 2005, 2006. 9/11 was still kind of fresh.
Yeah.
The economy was really stalled out. And so I had the option to take over a store. And, at 18, 19, 20 years old, what would you do? Go to college, spend 4 years not making money, or take over a Little Caesars franchise and make $40,000 a year? What would you do?
Yeah, especially because, you didn't have your college paid for. Like, if you were going to go to college, it was take out a loan or...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, my older brother was going to architecture for, two centuries, so I didn't want any of that life. So here's the deal. I was 20 years old. I was running my Little Caesar store, and long story short, I got fired. I got fired for the dumbest reason. There was just some internal drama at the company, and they let me go. And back then, I was really upset. Like, it took the whole wind out of my sails. I was like, oh my God, my life is over. I'm 20. I'm a loser. I got nothing to fall back on.
It's crazy to think, like, how small your world was when you were that young. Like, how big of a deal that something like that would have been.
Totally.
Yeah.
Well, I had no fallback, no backup plan.
Right.
So I was 20. I was scared, and I had bills. Let's just be honest. And as measly as they were back then, I knew I needed to make money. So I went on, Monster.com or Career Builder. Remember those? Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, I need to get a job. So I started typing in manager, and I found route manager. Well, I didn't know what a route manager was. I thought I was going to boss a dozen people around, right? Because who wants to be the lackey? So I go apply at True Green. It's one of their branches is about 7 minutes down the road from where I lived. And I worked there for a little over maybe 18 months. So they're like, hey, do you like green industry and the outdoors? And do you see a future in fertilizer? And I'm like, oh yeah, absolutely. And I get out of there. I go, I have no idea what I'm doing.
Typical.
No idea what I'm doing. All I know is that they were going to pay $12 an hour, 40 hours a week, and I'm about to rock and roll. And the guy was like, all right, you ready to start? I go, yes, sir. He goes, great. We'll see you at 5 a.m. tomorrow morning.
5 a.m.
5 a.m. I hadn't waken up in 5 a.m. for, I don't know, a few years, right? And so it's just kind of funny what you'll do for money. So I was waking up. I was ready to rock and roll. I was a technician. I was spraying lawns, doing the whole deal. And let's talk about the infamous Baywatch moment, because I talk about this.
So awkward.
It is a very funny story, because I was working there for maybe 4 or 5 months, and I realized it wasn't for me. I just knew that I wanted to be my own boss. I wanted to be self-employed. I had ran a lawn landscape business when I was a kid. I mean, I was literally like cutting grass, pulling weeds. 10, 12, 15 years old. You've seen photos.
Yeah, they're adorable.
Verified. I was pushing a little, like, 3 horsepower, like MTD lawnmower, no self-propelled, no, electric start. It was as basic as possible. It's basically slave labor. and I was making $10 cutting grass, and I bought like fireworks and, just hustling as a little kid, right?
You always did that hustle thing though. Like you used to like buy candy to sell at school with like your brother's lunch money. I had lemonade stands. I had hot dog stands. I was the OG of hustling, right? So I feel like Gary Vee. That's why I like Gary Vee so much. I'm like, man, I did all that stuff. And so here's the deal. Here's the Baywatch moment. If you haven't heard this story, it's the fork in the road for me, because it's just funny how we make these decisions and where we find ourselves in life 5, 10, 20 years later. But I was spraying a lawn in Canton, Michigan, and I won't ever forget this little scene where I'm in this tanker truck. They call it a Rhino. So I got a 400-gallon tank behind me of just fertilizer. It's nasty, stinks. It's 90 degrees out. And I'm about to go jump out of the truck to fertilize the lawn. And as I do this, there's these guys, these 2 young dudes, they're probably 20-year-old kids, and they jump out of their truck, kitty corner from me, to start cutting a lawn. Well, they're, 20 years old, they're in shorts and a t-shirt with headphones on, and they're just hanging out. They're just having a good time. One guy jumps on the mower, one guy jumps on the trimmer. They have at it, and they're, making 25, 30, 35 bucks in 15 minutes. And so at the exact same time, I go to fertilize a lawn, and here's the picture. Imagine this. I'm in rubber boots. I'm in long pants. I'm in long sleeve shirt. I'm wearing safety glasses or safety goggles, rubber gloves. It's 90 degrees out, and I'm hating life. Surrounded by all these horrible chemicals.
And there's no air conditioning in the truck. So I literally had this, I call it my Baywatch moment, because no homo. And I see these 2 young guys jump out. I'm like, what am I doing with my life? I want to do what they're doing, right?
Because they were in like shorts, and they were, jamming out. Their buds. They're having a blast.
They're living the dream.
Yeah, they get out, cut the grass. Takes 20 minutes, and then they hop in the truck and they're done. They're on to the next one.
And then I go take my truck and my route back, and get yelled at by the boss, right? And I did like True Green. True Green was a good company. They taught me a lot of things, for sure. But I also learned what I don't want, right? And that's when I decided I wanted to start my own business and be self-employed. Now, I had no idea we'd be doing what we're doing today.
No.
Right? There's just no way. It's a miracle that I'm still in business.
YouTube and stuff wasn't even around. Like, it's just crazy how far the world's come, and like technology and like the educational stuff that's out there for you to start a business. Like, you started from like scratch.
Not even in the same galaxy. I don't even know.
Tell them about your first lawn care setup.
No, I think we had, but I was just going to say, I think we had like MySpace. We had like lawn site or something like that. Like we had
like the old school like chat forums.
Yeah, like we didn't have YouTube and Instagram and Pinterest and I don't even know if rocks were still forming back then, on the planet. And so my first setup was very, very humble, to say the least. So I was 20. I was working for True Green for a few months. I decided I was going to start cutting grass, and I went and bought a lawnmower. Right, I bought an Exmark 48-inch Viking lawnmower, and it was a really awesome mower. But again, I still had no idea what I was doing, because you want to hear the funny story is what I was going to do, and this was almost a catastrophe right out of the gate. Is that my brother? You've seen the photos of his Dodge Durango.
Yeah.
And the Dodge Durango SXT has like the huge tailgate. And my idea, my grand
Brilliant
plan
idea.
was to have ramps that would go in the back of the bed, and I would ride my Quest lawnmower, my little Toro time cutter, whatever it was back then. and ride it up the ramp in the back of the bed of the Dodge Durango. Now that was, I probably would have died the first time I attempted that because I probably would have just fell right off the side of the truck.
I'm really glad you didn't.
No, I had no idea what I was doing. But that was my grand plan. And so like when I have like our how to start your lawn care business for $99 and there's like 7 courses, that thing is one picking out equipment. Like I talk about all these stories about how to get started correctly. And thankfully, I had a really good salesman back in the day. He was only there for about a year, and then he ended up retiring. But he pointed me in the right direction. And that's when I started building a relationship with Weingarts, my dealer.
That we still use today.
Yeah, 13 years ago. And so people are like, oh, X marks Skag, right? You know, and what about this other deal? I'm like, dude, there's 13 years of relationship here.
Yeah, the roots run deep.
Yeah. I mean, these guys are responsible for me making, 7 figures of sales in the last decade. Like plus. Like, yeah, there's some loyalty there. And so that was kind of like my humble beginnings, right? I was working at Little Caesars. It was a good job. We had to part ways, not by my choice. I started working at True Green, and then I said, you know what? I'm going to cut grass professionally. Now, a lot of people, I call that Brian's lawn maintenance 1.0. And for about 7, 8, 9 years, I had a decent little business. It was like 50 grand a year. It was a good little income. But let's be real. I was living at home.
Yeah.
I had no girlfriend, no wife. It was just me. And when you're living at home, you have no expenses because I was paying cash for everything. You can get really complacent, and 50 grand goes pretty far, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And then I met you, and everything changed.
And things got real expensive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks, babe.
Well, and then my expenses tripled out of nowhere. And every guy who's got a girl or laughing or married is laughing right now because as a guy I could live in a pub tent and eat McDonald's cheeseburgers for until 35, and then it'll start catching up to you. But it was so true because you and I we started dating. We got engaged. We moved in together. We were married, like boom, 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 really quick.
All within 2 years, from strangers to like married in 2 years.
And basically, like you were working a couple different jobs. We met at Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yeah. I was your waitress at Buffalo Wild. I was aspiring to big things.
Yes. Yeah. You were just killing the game too. You weren't drifting at all.
I was a good waitress.
You were a good waitress.
You know what? We were talking about this the other day. I got fired from every single job I've ever had.
Is that right?
Yeah. 2 winners together. See, this is what I mean. Going back to like just the 2 blondes taking over the world.
We're taking over the world.
Yeah.
Okay. So what happened was we realized we had to start growing up. Like, let's just be honest. Like, we had no responsibility. We had to start learning how to work together. We had to learn how to pay bills together. We had new bills because, when you get married, for whatever reason, your expenses like triple out of nowhere. And I'm like, what's insurance, life insurance? What's disability insurance? What's a wedding for 20 grand? We didn't have nobody helping us out. Right. Yeah. And the bottom line is that we had to start really figuring out our life and our business. And that was about 5-6 years ago. Right. Yeah.
I definitely wouldn't say like at that point, neither of us were very polished. Pretty rough around the edges. I had moved out at like 17, made a bunch of dumb choices. You probably made a lot more good choices than I had at that point.
Well, you have a story too.
Yeah.
There's Liz 1.0.
Yeah, we're not going into that today though.
That's sealed in the vault.
Yeah.
So basically we were young dinks, dual income, no kids. We had a dumpy little apartment, which we stayed in for 5 years.
A very long time. Yeah. I think some people didn't understand like why we stayed in the apartment that we stayed in for so long, but
yeah. Well, they also don't know that we put a gob of money in the bank
and paid off a whole ton of debt.
Yeah. Everything that you see, I basically in less than 2 years, we paid off about $100,000 worth of debt because I re-upped everything.
And that's on top of reinvesting everything. I mean, we bought a new truck, we bought a new trailer, we bought new mowers, because it's not just paying off debt, it's also reinvesting into the business. So staying somewhere with a low cost, low overhead allowed us to do a lot of stuff, but it was really hard watching all of our other friends, get married, get nice houses or just a house, go on vacations, things like that. We didn't do any of that.
Well, let's do this. That's a good junction. Let's talk about Brian's Lawn Maintenance 2.0. Let's talk about when we jumped on YouTube. Because boy, is that a story in itself. All right, let's do this. Let's take a quick break with our sponsors, our Launchpreneur Academy, and we'll be right back.
Enjoying today's show? Motivated to take your lawn care and landscaping business to the next level? Learn what it takes to grow your lawn and landscaping business today with training and education from the Lawntrepreneur Academy. Get educated with how-tos on mulch installation, plowing snow, aeration and overseeding, and so much more. These training programs are designed to help you save time and make more money with your business. Invest in your future by first investing in yourself. Use promo code PODCAST to save 10% on all courses today at LawnTrepreneurAcademy.com. Now, back to the show.
All right, so let's talk about YouTube. Let's talk about the junction that changed both of our lives. Because when I was late 20s, you were young 20s, and we decided to start a YouTube channel. What the heck is that about?
So random. I mean, at that point too, you had a lot going on with your business. Like, we had just started to like heavily reinvest and work on getting out of debt as you were starting your channel. So it was kind of like a perfect starting point, but we didn't even see it that way. You actually had bought the camera that you used for the first year.
So can I tell the story?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, because it's so near and dear to my heart. Because like people are like, well, you're so good at YouTube and we're not good at YouTube.
The first video is up. I think people should look
My first video is still up. We haven't taken it down. It was a review video.
Yeah.
And people are like, all you do is reviews. You're a sellout. You do
reviews, equipment.
That's how it got started.
That's
okay.
It's like, guys.
Okay, boomer.
It's
Sorry.
like, well, that's like what the channel's about. The channel is about helping other people not make bad choices. Like, I'm not the most entertaining guy on YouTube, but I can review some tough stuff because I've spent a decade doing things wrong. And that's kind of where we were at. And a lot of things happened all at once. So let's go real slow. But I don't want to take this all day either. So number one was when I was about 30 years old, I had just, I had a, what do you call it? I was depressed.
You had a midlife crisis at 30.
I had a midlife crisis at 30. And like all these things happened at once, right? And I had just been on YouTube for maybe 6 months, not maybe something like that. And I just said, hey, I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to do it good. So I jump on YouTube and, let's back up a little bit. I went on YouTube one day and I was typing in like lawn care or blowers, or maybe I was trying to find a review on a new Exmark mower. And anybody who's OGs lawn care people and have been part of the lawn care community for longer than we have, know Geek to Freak and Spencer's Lawn Care and B&B Lawn Care and some of these guys, right? And I had a couple videos promoted to me about cutting grass. And I'm like, what is this mess? Like, I watch YouTube. I watch like Evolution of Dance.
Brian's watched literally all of YouTube.
I have consumed more YouTube than anybody you know. Fact. And I will put my watch time against anybody for the last decade. I mean, I've seen half of YouTube. I swear, it's crazy. So all these lawn care videos though started getting promoted to me. And I was like, that's really interesting. Well, at the exact same time, parallel was we had bought a camera for you.
Yeah.
So go into that. So, because you wanted to do makeup and...
I just like documenting things. I had actually borrowed my dad's DSLR when we went on our honeymoon and kept it way longer. Like, I think like a year after I still was hanging on to it, and just I enjoy taking photos, video. Like, I'm a huge memory person, so it's just something I gravitate towards naturally. But I wanted to start like a blog or something. Like, I'm just a natural sharer. I think that is something about Brian and I both we have in common, is we just naturally like to share. So I had this idea that I was going to do YouTube or a blog or something, and I really wanted my own camera.
What did you want to do it on? Like skincare, makeup?
I don't even know.
Beauty tips?
Yeah.
You enjoy that stuff?
I do. I just like being creative.
Get ready with me.
Yeah. So he had given me the camera. It was really cute how he did it. He surprised me with it. It was a big purchase we didn't have the money for.
Oh, it was like $900.
Yeah.
It might as well have been $9,000.
Seriously.
Like today. Yeah. It was a lot of money. Well, and so what happened? You hauled off and did...
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I would take photos, but beyond that, like I'm
really not trying to throw you under the bus.
Because if anybody's out there and you've tried to make a video or you are on YouTube,
my God.
When you start doing it, it's difficult. It feels weird.
Well, my younger brother and his wife are starting to do that right now.
Yeah.
They both have corporate America backgrounds. They enjoy what they do. They're good at what they do, but they want freedom and flexibility and more financial independence.
I'm so excited for them.
And my younger brother's starting a YouTube channel, and he's like, "This is the hardest crap I've ever done in my entire life."
Yeah. So if you've done it, you get it. So I did nothing with it, and Brian was like, "Okay, well, I'm not gonna let this, $900
just
sit
camera
around. So maybe I'll try it. I've seen these, videos out there, and I have this piece of equipment that we are actually trading in to re-up and purchase a new piece of equipment. And so right before, I think it was like the day you turned it in, or like the day before you
maybe the day
filmed
of,
this like shaky cam video.
Yeah.
You're not even in it.
I did a walk around. No, dude, heck no, I wasn't gonna put my face on YouTube. www.
I'm not putting my face on the internet.
No way, man. There's crazy people out there.
Yeah.
Well, so I do this video, and it was, like you said, it was super humble, super basic. It was 12 minutes, whatever, of me walking around an Exmark Laser Z0 turn mower. Had like 1,400 hours on it, and there wasn't really any other YouTube review videos on it.
On that specific one, yeah.
Yeah. So I said, you know what? Screw it. Let's just grab a video. I had no idea what I'm doing. I have no idea how it even got on YouTube. You know,
I don't even remember you editing it. I think you literally just uploaded it to
I have no
YouTube.
idea.
I don't.
Like when people are like, well, what's the best editor for iMovie, or for YouTube? What's the best songs, or what's the best camera? I'm like, dude, just start. Start. Like, I don't even, everybody wants to get that, perfect everything, right?
Well, like, we've had a lot of people ask you, like, well, how do I do YouTube? How do I get started? Like,
Google
YouTube it.
YouTube,
like,
how to do YouTube.
Yeah, because that's literally what you've done.
There is not a single person I have ever had give me any information on how to do YouTube, besides maybe like Keith Kalfas or Stanley Dirt Monkey.
Yeah, for sure. And that's after, like, you'd already been doing it for at least a year, if not longer. But yeah, so he had put up a video, and then someone commented actually on the video. We're like, holy crap, somebody watched it, right? But they commented asking about a piece of equipment. I think it was a blower, maybe.
Yeah, something else in the background.
They're like, hey, can you like talk a little bit about that one? They just wanted to see this other piece of equipment. So
yeah, I had no idea, and I think it was like a trimmer or something like that, like a Red Max trimmer. And I was like, sure. So I did another walk around video, and they were like, oh, like sweet, like what about that other lawnmower you have? And I'm like, okay, what? Okay.
And it just progressed from there.
Yeah, literally, it was like we did one video, it got like 2 views. We did the next video, it got like 7 views. The third video got like 14, views, and like we had like 1 subscriber, and then we had like 5 subscribers.
It's funny because stuff comes up on, Facebook. It's like this day 1 year ago, this day 2 years ago, and I'm like, celebrating like all out, like we made it to 50 subscribers, like holy crap, like that's the biggest thing that's ever happened to us,
Yeah.
And it's just it's funny.
Well, and it was like it's like you have like 1 new subscriber, right? Because you get the notification when you're like, I think under 100 or under 1,000, and then it's like you have 9 subscribers. Then it's like you put out a new video, it's like you have 6 subscribers, and it's like, what happened to the other 3 subscribers? It's like, oh, it goes backwards too. Yeah. And so it was 1, then 9, then 14, then 7, then 15, then 12, and then it was 20, then it was 50, then it was 100. And then some companies reached out to us and they said, hey, way different landscape back then about the YouTube influencer community. Everybody's an influencer. And I hate that word. We are not influencers. We are regular people. And it was funny because I think it was Echo. Echo had reached out, or vice versa. I don't know how I got a hold of them, but they sent me a Echo 2620 trimmer, and literally, like, to be honest with you, it just kind of evolved from there. Like, I was so like, oh my God, companies will give us a product. Some companies will let us review something. They'll send us a check sometimes to review things. Like, yeah, please try to take care of my family. Like, and people are always like, oh, they make money doing YouTube.
Yeah, if you put freaking time into something, why wouldn't you want to get paid from it? Especially as a business owner, you people should know that if you're taking your time away from your business to do something, you better be getting paid for it. Yeah, you can go home and play video games if you want to, or you can go home and edit a YouTube video.
Yeah, because cameras are free, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sitting in a studio that probably cost me $7,000. Yeah. Which is just ridiculous.
It's funny; those people never say it to your face, though.
yeah. But anyway. But but everybody says thank you for the review video, right?
Yeah.
And my gosh, like thank God somebody's making review videos, and I watch everybody else's review videos because I don't want to make a bad purchase or a bad choice, and we will never lead anybody astray to make a buck. I'll tell you that, because we don't need it. I don't care. This is literally all extra. We do it for fun. We're smart enough to monetize the hobby, but at the end of the day, like I couldn't even care less about what we make from our YouTube channel. Like, we don't even know. I don't even know what I make. We put it all in one bank account, don't we? Yeah. I don't even look at it. I don't even know.
CPA's like, you do what now?
Don't even care. I look at it's getting sizable, but I don't even care. Because we qualify for everything with our lawn landscape income. Like I have people like, oh, they bought their truck with the YouTube money. I'm like, A, if I did, who cares? But B, You got to realize
it's like, oh, did you buy your truck with your lawn and landscape business money? How dare you? Like,
sound ridiculous. Yeah. So I bought the truck way before we did YouTube, because you got to have 2 years of qualified income. So sometimes you hear things out there and people are just very ignorant. But that being said, so where do we start with the YouTube channel? Because we got subscribers, then companies, then fans, and then we built a community with it. Launchpreneurs. I think that's the coolest thing ever. A community of launchpreneurs. By the way, there's a community before us. We joined the community. There'll be a community after us.
There's somebody who's not even on YouTube who's going to get on it eventually and grow a bigger channel than you.
Like, probably blow us all away.
Yeah, it's just
because I have no idea. Yeah, I have no idea what I'm doing with YouTube. Like we make fun videos.
A common theme in our life. It's we start things that we have no idea what we're supposed to do with.
We just have fun and try to help people.
Yeah.
I mean, genuinely, like we just enjoy talking to people and hanging out and having fun and solving problems. And so a couple benchmarks with doing YouTube in our life. So it was kind of funny because, to go full circle, we started kind of like Brian's Lawn Maintenance 3.0. I'll call it. I was at the point where my 02 F-150 had 150,000 miles on it. I had my Exmark Laser Z S series lawnmower that had 1,500 hours on it. I had a utility trailer that was a 6.5 by 12 that was 4 years old. What else do we have? Everything was just ran down. Everything was, it was just old. It was nasty. We were getting into our late 20s. And I said, look, if we want to have a good 6-figure business and a 6-figure income, I got to make an investment. I said,
I vividly remember right before you turned 30, you took a year and you read like every single book you could get your hands on that somebody had recommended, or just I was crazy. Yeah, like you were hungry. It was like you had to re-up. Like I'm sure you did that when 100%. You first started your business.
Second wind.
Yeah, you got your second wind. And I had never seen, I mean, you've always been a very motivated person. I think we're both very type A. But for you to be that just hungry for it, like that much hustle, I mean, you would be, working until 5, 6, 7 o'clock at night in the summer, 90-degree days, come home and, be super tired, and we would spend no time together, and you would just read, and anybody you could chase down to ask questions. And I had never seen that side of you in our marriage, and that's where things started to kind of pivot and turn. And that's also kind of when the channel started. So I think people get confused when they're like, you start making these big investments in your business and they assume it's YouTube, but like really it was our business exploded too. Like,
yeah, like I dropped 100 G's, like I said, probably more, dude, because my rig's like 109 grand. It doesn't count all the bull crap, paying taxes, all that. I mean, so it was a lot. And I was like, oh my God, like talk about perfect opportunity to document our life. It wasn't to impress. It wasn't to gain free product. I got 7 backpack blowers. Here's a tip: I can only run 2. and nobody's sending a check with them.
And you were also giving away so much stuff. It was like anytime we could get something in from a company, you gave it away.
Yeah, I mean, I gave so much stuff away. I people, somebody sends me something, I sell it to them for $100. I'm like, dude, just take it. Like, there's got to be some value to it, because I don't want people to get something for nothing and just beat it, and not like take care of it. So there's got to be some. But dude, we literally just give. I mean, at our Launchpreneur Academy, I gave probably $1,000 of free stuff away.
I would say
more than that.
Yeah,
probably way more than that. But it was really cool because we had started right at the exact same time. I had met Mike Bedell. Right, a little interjection here for Mike. And I was at maybe 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. We were making about 38 cents a month, because you don't make any money with 1,000 subscribers. And it was funny because I meet him at a Weingart's open house. And I think I had my camera back then, like walking around with it. And I usually do anyway. And I was like, just trying to capture video over there and just, capture the event and hang out. And Mike Bedell walks up to me and he goes, "Hey, I'm Mike Bedell." I'm like, "Hi, Mike." He goes, "What's up with the camera?" I'm like, "Oh, so I do YouTube." And he's like, and if you know Mike, you know what I'm about to do. He goes, "Uh-huh." You know what I'm talking about? He does that. He goes, "Uh-huh." Okay. He goes, Okay. Right. He does the, uh-huh. And that's when he kind of like, he does his like little lean back, and he kind of like, he's not judging. He's just like, really? He's like, really interesting. He's like, tell me more. and there was no skepticism there. But it's funny because Mike tells the story later. We caught up like, a year and a half later, we're talking, and we're good friends now. And Mike goes, he goes, "I didn't know what to think." He goes like, yeah, we'll just see where this goes. Because he's like, YouTube? Lawn care? He goes, okay.
Yeah. Well, you had mentioned that you wanted to grab dinner with him because he had, a really good, solid business, and you just wanted to pick his brain. Like I said, you were in that like mode of just chasing it down.
It was, looking back on it, for sure. It was a divine appointment.
For sure.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
Because what's the saying? Like when the student is ready, the coach will appear. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I was just throwing one up against the wall, but now I was doing it even harder, faster, more money, just making a mess. And I meet Mike, and Mike comes, we got dinner at Black Rock Restaurant, mm-hmm. and I think I was about to go into snow. I was about to buy a truck. I was going to buy a plow, and I was going to drop like 60, 70 grand, right? And I was like, oh, we got to get this thing figured out. And I'm freaking out. This is probably, we met in March, April at the open house. And so we became friends that summer, and I was buying him a couple of dinners. We went to Black Rock 2-3 times, spent $150.
And it was like several hours.
4 hours a night, easy. And we not only did he coach me and help me, I'm huge on coaching and mentorship. I mean, we have coaching calls, like people take advantage of it all the time. You should. And there's people I pick their brains of all the time too. And Mike was one of those guys. I took him to, $150 steak dinners. And the guy put, $30,000 of snow business in my pocket my first year doing snow.
Yeah.
Like, how do you, for a $150 dinner, like, how do you say thank you? And Mike's like, no, dude, I just want to see you take care of your family. I'm like, dude, that's a good guy. Mm-hmm. So we became friends. We became buds. He's been in a lot of videos. He helped me clean up my contracts. He helped me with how I price, how I estimate, how I value my business, how I value my time. He just helped me think better. And it was just really good because, like you said, there was this synergy of I was already trying to figure this all out on my own anyway. But then with Mike kind of ad-libbing, it just really compounded things. Mm-hmm. And so what happened was, imagine this, for full circle, for about 24 months, we were just, everything we had, we were just paying off debt. We're living in this hellhole apartment.
Oh my God. It's 700 square feet. The carpet was 12 years old.
Yeah, 12 years. Everything in the apartment when we moved out got replaced.
Yep.
And it's funny because there's guys that listen to the podcast and the guys that are friends that cut lawns in the area. Brandon and Chris, Brett, a couple other guys. They know who they are and they know where we live. Mm-hmm. They live in the exact same apartments in the next complex over. And they're like, yeah, dude, like these apartments suck. Like they're all tweener apartments. Mm-hmm. So we're making decent money. We're trying to grow the YouTube channel. We're just trying to hustle, dude. And so we're paying off like, dude, one window, we paid off like 26 grand in like a month. Mm-hmm. Now on the outside, we have the same dumpy cars. We have the same dumpy apartment. Everything in the apartment sucks. It's all IKEA.
I think our family were like, oh, these poor kids. Like,
yeah, they did. Here's how, I don't want to say bad, but like, here's how like people were like, these people don't even like have money for like bread. Our family, what did our family do one Christmas?
They bought us a TV because we refused to have a TV. Like I said, we were in a mode where like everything that we were doing, we were, either learning about the business, talking about the business, investing in the business, everything related to it. And, we didn't have time for TV. You can't do everything. And so we actually had no TV, but kind of by choice, but like we just didn't even think about it. So for Christmas, they were like, here you go, 2 little poor kids. Like we got you a TV for Christmas. And
what did we say?
Thanks.
We were like, that's interesting. They all stood around it, like all like very, like they presented
very
it.
Sweet, yeah.
Like they presented the TV to us, you know what I mean? And they all stood behind it, and they're like, hey, we all went in together, all 6 of us, and we bought you this really special TV at Walmart. It was a special. It was only like $2.99.
It was so
usually
nice.
$4.99.
Yeah.
And we're like, you bought us a TV? And they're like, yeah. And they're like all proud. Yeah. I'm like, we don't watch TV, and B, we have enough money to buy a TV. But they're like,
but from the outside, we look.
But they're like, we've been to your place. Yeah. It's a hellhole. And
we know.
And we're like,
okay.
we know. But what nobody saw was us paying off tons and tons of debt. Now, here's what happened. Now, woe was me, victim mentality. No, we didn't have any of that mess. Like, we were upgrading, we were chasing it down. And I said, you know what? I'm going to pay off this debt in 12, 18 months. And when I'm done, I get to the other side, I'll have a 6-figure business, a 6-figure income, which, by the way, is peanuts. Okay, like, I'm not trying to...
I think that chase together, we're still doing it. Like, I still feel like we're in the mode.
Now we're trying to solidify.
It's just a little bit more comfortable. Yeah, now it's the harder chase is to solidify. But, like, I feel like that was one of the best things that we did for our marriage was be in the hunt together, chasing after something we wanted to accomplish.
Totally.
Like as a team.
Well, and okay, so let's fast forward. right? Because 18, 24 months of that, two things happened at once, which I did not predict, right? We did not predict this. We got out of debt.
Yep.
We were throwing some money in the bank. The last year that we were at our apartment, we were just putting money in the bank. Because when we moved in here, I bought about $20,000 worth of new stuff.
Yeah. Everything we had was either stuff that I had from when I moved out at 17 years old.
It was all 5, 7, 15 years old.
That wasn't new to me.
Right.
Or stuff from IKEA that, doesn't last very long because it's the cheapest of the cheap you could buy.
For sure. So everything had to get replaced. And we also made a pact that nothing was going.
Yeah.
Right. Because we were so broke. We were so...
Not broke. Like, for part of it, we were broke. And then the part of it, we were just so motivated to just...
reinvest.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't buy anything.
Like, we didn't care. Like,
not at all.
Yeah.
And so what did we do? When we moved out this summer, I literally told you, I said, hey, I love you. Thank you for sticking it out with me for 5 years of being married. You have a blank check at our new place. Buy whatever you want. So we did. We bought a nice couch. We bought a nice bed. We bought a painting. We bought a bunch of stupid stuff because we had money in the bank, and it feels good when you're debt free to be able to do that. Because like I said, two things happened at once. The YouTube channel did start making some money, right? It started making $500 a month. There was like 1,000. Then it was like, whoa, it could start making more. I had no idea. Now again, we started just putting that in the bank, but the same thing, the same parallels at our lawn care business. Got totally out of debt and started making a decent little income. And so now we have like a lot more money coming in. I'm like,
and so much momentum. Like, it wasn't even the money coming in. It was the idea of this is only going to compound and get bigger like each season.
Totally. And we were blown away because 2 years ago, we were, $50,000-$60,000 in debt. We had nothing going on. Our marriage was solid, but we didn't have any fun. There wasn't anything really going on because we were just working. Like you were still working a job up until probably about 2 years ago. You got
3 years ago in September.
Has it been that long already?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, and by the way, so at that time we were getting out of debt. You had lost your job.
Yeah, I was laid off around the election. Yeah, 3 years ago.
Yeah. Wow, go figure.
My office downsized by half at least.
They went from like 10 people to like 5.
Yeah.
Which is half.
So, and we looked at each other and kind of like, oh crap, it's something we've always talked about was having me come home to help with the business. And eventually when we have kids, like manage, the house and the kids and, everything. But so it's something we'd always talked about, but it was still a few years out. We wanted to be debt free. We wanted to,
it was a year early.
Yeah. And we looked at each other and we're like, okay, well, I could go get another job making, $20 an hour, maybe.
Not even, no, like $15 an hour. Yeah.
Or I could help you and
grow this YouTube thing and figure out what we got going on.
And we're like, okay, we'll give it 6 months. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, you can go get another job, I guess. And I actually got called back.
You did?
That
about
March.
2 months later?
Yeah, maybe. No, it was a little, I don't know.
4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was able to say no, which felt so good.
Totally. And then people are like, so what does Liz do every day? Does she just sit at home and play with your dog? I'm like, do you guys have any idea how much stuff we have going on? Like, we have like 15 plates.
People always ask you, like, I don't know how you do it all, man.
I'm like,
hi.
My wife manages.
I'm here too.
My wife manages my life. Like I spin the plates, but she's like the one that like holds the stick that holds them straight, if you will. And then she spins them sometimes too. I don't know. But here's what I've always said, and I've said this in many videos. I say when you make a decision and you make it right, right? Like we are so regular, normal, freaking people. Like I've said this in many videos too. The more you talk to me, the less impressed you're probably going to be. Because we're just like you, man. Like we have fights, we have good days, we have bad days. There's times I'm cutting grass and customers chew me out, or I get text messages and I miss something. You 2-star. Yeah, I had a lady one time to my face say, "You 2-star," and
Thank you for the Yelp rating.
Yeah, she like gave me an in-person 2-star rating, and I was like taken back. And then I get home, I tell you this story, and you go,
I about died laughing.
What did you say though? You said, well, what's the rating system out of?
Is that 3? Because that's pretty good.
He goes, maybe it's 2 out of 2. I'm like, that's a fair point. Because you had a positive attitude. And I was like ready to burn this lady's house down. I'm like, you give me a 2-star, I will crush you. And so we're just regular people. But if anybody's ever been out there and you're like, man, like our finances aren't right. Our marriage is, I wouldn't say taxed, but like, it's not fun. There's, you promised her big things and she wants the nicer things. Did you buy any purses in that 5 years?
No, I actually, for 5 years, decided that I would not buy another purse until I could afford to buy a designer handbag that I've wanted since I was like a teenager.
Everybody is around you buying. Back then it was Coach, and then it was Michael Kors, and after Michael Kors it was Kate Spade, and after Kate Spade it was Louis, and now everybody's got Louis Vuitton. It sounds
so silly because it's just a bag, but like that's one of the goals we've set. That's something I will say is if you see things aren't how you want them in your life, and you're ready to make a change, set little goals where there's a tangible reward at the end, whether it's like a specific date night, like a actual
for sure. Well, some people I always say clothes. Some people like watches.
Yeah.
Some people like cars.
Whatever your thing is.
So checkpoints.
Yeah.
100%.
And so that's what we did. And we had to be out of debt.
And by the way, you had your monthly Stitch Fix box, right? No. Did you have your monthly, did you go to the hair salon every 2 months?
No.
Maybe every 6 months?
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe about 5 to 6 months. Did I buy a bunch of new clothes? No, I didn't buy anything. But here's the thing. Let me ask you this. Did I buy camera lenses?
Yeah.
Did I buy camera gear?
Everything we had, we just reinvested. I think some people think that because they, get to a certain age, they're owed things in life. Just because you're 30 years old doesn't mean you get to all of a sudden go to the spa and get a facial once a month. It means that if you didn't work for it, you don't get it.
Yeah, 100%. And by the way, is YouTube a hustle?
Yeah, heck yeah.
Does YouTube cost money?
Absolutely.
This microphone board. You listen to this podcast. If you enjoy the podcast and you leave 5-star reviews and the whole deal, we super appreciate it. Like, you kidding me? It was a dream to have a podcast like this a year and a half ago. You know why I didn't have one? I didn't have the money. I didn't have a garage. You know what I mean? Like, it took $1,500 just for the audio to do a freaking podcast and to help you guys out with your life. So and that's why here's the cool thing I've built on my channel, and a lot of people get this now. The first 24 months, people were trolling and being clowns, and that's fine. I get it because we're hey, who's this guy doing YouTube? Who is this Brian Law Maintenance? Right?
Everybody's a big man behind a keyboard.
That's yeah. It's always like 14-year-old kids, but they can type fast. I'm like the hunt pack. I'm like, by the time I even reply, they already got another paragraph. But here's the deal: like for everybody that uses the Brian's 10 code, and everybody that buys training programs, which literally you buy a training program for $50, you go do a mulch shop for $800, net $400, you already make 8x the multiple of your investment. Like, you know what I mean? Like the scales of investing versus what every affiliate deal that we have, every single person saves more money than I make on that transaction. Fact, right? There's no affiliate we have where we make more money on that transaction than somebody saves. So it's always others focused first. And we appreciate that because the support of Brian's 10 and just watching the videos and smashing like and being subscribed and being all in with us and being I'll call it a partner. You're a partner with what we got going on. Like that allows us to reinvest everything we have going on into the podcast, into more YouTube videos, into camera lenses. And it's literally designed to help you guys grow a more successful. That's not a tagline. That's not a cliche opener for a YouTube video and YouTube channel. Hey, come subscribe to us so we help you grow your business. Oh, by the way, thanks for all the millions of views so we make money. No, it's literally, I just threw them up against the wall. I made no money my first 5 years in business. I almost bought the wrong mowers. We don't forget what it's like making an investment to a $14,000 lawnmower, a $600 backpack. Do you remember ever running up to Weingart's for me and buying a $300 weed whip and we had no money? And you're like, with what money? With what checking account? With what credit card? They're maxed out and there's nothing in the account. I'm like, just give Ted, our sales guy, my social security number. I have a line of credit. You're like, what? I go, it's an emergency thing. We've never used it. She goes, how much? What is this? What is a line of credit? We didn't know what a line of credit was, and you just like literally walked in. You're like, hey Ted, Brian's number is blank 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 blank, and you literally walked. And I said, hey, before he even gets done writing it down, run out the front doors. And if James and Alex or Weingart's ever listen to this, it's funny.
They're the best. They walk out boxes of blades and stuff.
Oh, I would walk on fire for those people. They're amazing. So to see everything come full circle, and again, we haven't arrived.
No, not at all. I mean, we said, we're still in the hunt for it. We're still trying to solidify. We have big goals. We had 2 moms that, did nothing but sweat equity to get us through our, teenage years. And
they're still paying off bills when we were kids. Yeah,
there's so many things in our hearts that we still have yet to accomplish. We want to have kids. People always ask us, when are you guys having kids? When could I have fit a kid into what we were doing?
No.
Oh my gosh.
we want to have kids and start the family thing here. That'd be a major blessing for us, and we really can't wait for that. But for anybody that's out there listening to this, and we know where you guys are at. We've been there. We've maybe you don't have that same rough start of pumping the brakes or a black eye, or maybe your finances are a better side. Maybe you're leaving the corporate world. You're cashing out your 401k. You got 50 grand, 100 grand in the bank. You've got $30,000 in the checking account. You have an F-150, and you're like, oh, I got to buy a mower and get some customers. I went to school for business marketing. Dude, that's awesome. You're starting at, like the little spectrum, where it's like, +5, -5, and then you go vertical and it's +5, -5. I started at like a -5, -4, and like attitude and thought process. And like now we're at like a +2, +2. You know what I mean? Like we haven't arrived.
No.
But some of you guys are out there and you're a +3, +4. And you're kicking butt. You got money. You're making good choices. You got YouTube. You got all my videos. Like, oh my god! Like, thank you so much for the route density video. Thanks so much for the yard book videos, dude. You're welcome. Like I just want to say thank you for watching them.
Yeah, all the letters and things that we've gotten, like we read every single one.
We sure do.
We like cry a lot.
We do.
To be honest,
we do for sure.
Especially the stories, because like we relate so much to it. Like if you are struggling and you share that with us, like. We've been there. Like that's.
I watch people's trailer setup videos.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my god, that guy got a new mower. He went from a utility to an enclosed, a half ton to a 3/4 ton. He went from hand blowers to backpack blowers. We're in this together. Like we're not going anywhere. Like we're hanging out. We're having fun, and we super appreciate everybody that's supported us all along the way. And even if you've came and went and you came back, we love you. We appreciate you. If you just joined in and jumped on board the last 3 months, hey, welcome to the jungle. Get ready. For everybody that I've pissed off and offended, hey, I apologize. But you know what? It's all out of love. It's all out of tough love. And you know what? If I haven't made you mad, just hang around a little bit longer. I'll get to you. You know what I mean? Like if I haven't made you mad yet, I'll get to you. Okay,
just
really.
Give it time.
Just give it time, because I'm a dork. Okay, like I'm just a regular guy, right? And here's the fun thing: I am a regular guy. You're a regular girl, and if you're listening to this, you're probably just a regular person too. But here's the thing: we're all in this together, and together we're a team. As corny as it sounds, as cliche as it sounds, we're in this together. And you know what I thoroughly get passionate about is seeing people succeed, is seeing people take care of their families, is to see wives be able to stay home or be part-time because their husbands have a good income, or the wife can help manage the business while the husband grows the company, right? And they can have a better family, a better quality of life. You can have nicer things. I'm not saying buy Ferraris and, go to, foreign places. I don't know if you can do that with a lawn landscape business, but I know you can make a good $60,000 to $100,000 a year net working 40 hours a week, 8-9 months a year, and have a pretty decent little lifestyle. And so that's what we're all about. Any final thoughts? Because I'm going to wrap this one up.
No, I think this is so cool. I'm so excited to see some of the guests you'll have on the show.
In the future?
Yeah.
We need to get Keith Kalfas on here, Stanley Dirt Monkey. Well, we need to get Keith in studio.
Yeah.
That'll be something.
Yeah. Hopefully
by the time we release this, we'll have one of the inaugural 10 episodes. We'll have Keith, maybe Ashley in the studio as well.
I would love that.
That'd be really cool. But, by the way, Launchpreneur Academy, we did our first one last November. It was insane. Like, has this year not been a whirlwind?
It has been the crazy, like each year we try and get a Christmas ornament that sums up something that we did. Usually it's something that we accomplished because that's just kind of who we are.
Yeah.
But I didn't even know what to pick this year. We still haven't. It's December 29th?
30th?
I don't even know. And we haven't gotten our Christmas ornament for this year because we can't figure out what to get.
We need to go this week.
Yeah. I mean, you launched the training program at the beginning of this year. And then at the end of this year, we were able to do an in-person live event and have 200 people show up.
It was crazy.
That's insane.
Yeah.
We had people fly in from all over the country.
Mm-hmm.
You spent money to come to an event that we put on. That blows my mind.
Yeah. It was incredible. All right. So that's our story. You know where we came from. You know where we're at. You know where we're going. And guys, we just really appreciate you listening to the podcast, hanging out with us for this couple of minutes. If you're on a lawnmower right now, you're hanging out, you're driving down the road, just know that we appreciate you for sure. We anything we can do for you, just let us know. Shoot us an email, shoot us a comment, subscribe to the channel, hit like on every video. It really does help. And we'll catch up with you guys in the next episode. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Thanks for taking the time to listen to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast with Brian Fullerton. We hope you enjoyed this production. If so, please consider leaving us a 5-star review for the show. While the techniques and ideas presented here are designed to help you grow a more successful and profitable business, no one can guarantee these results for you. We want to emphasize that entrepreneurship is not easy, and the ideas presented here are just the opinions of Brian Fullerton and his respective guests. No one can guarantee success for you. That being said, we hope the ideas presented here help you and motivate you to go on out there and crush it with your own business.
Fullerton Unfiltered Podcast.
Thanks for listening, and we hope to see you on the next episode.